Hello, everyone. I'm Kimia, Digital Content Specialist at the Faculty of Science, and I have Jörg Stetefeld today with us. Jörg is a professor in the Department of Chemistry at the University of Manitoba, and he is a Tier 1 Canada Research Chair in Structural Biology and Biophysics. Jörg, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for your kind invitation.
Can you briefly explain the main findings of your research and your recent paper published in Nature Communication, and how you see your research impacting the future of cancer treatment?
Okay, we are a structural biology laboratory, which means we determine three-dimensional structures of proteins and their complexes. And what we published in this work is we try to understand the molecular mechanisms, how one of the key drivers in cancer progression and cancer cell migration, called netrin, is impacting or is working with its receptors. And the idea in my research is always the same. If we understand how things work in three dimensions in my world means at atomic resolution, then we have a feeling how these systems work. And if we know how they work, then we can develop drug targets, antibodies, which have an impact on these interactions. And in this particular case, there's an antibody involved which allows the blockage of this interaction, which causes apoptosis or programmed cell death for cancer cells.
What inspired you and your team to study molecular bindings in regard to cancer treatment?
I mean, I studied, biochemistry and structure and crystallography and back in the days in Leipzig, and then I did my PhD at Max Planck, and there you always work with systems which have a medical or biotechnological relevance. And here in this particular case, we are honored to work with two elite groups in Europe, Patrick Mélin from Lyon and Manuel Koch from Germany, Max Planck in the University of Cologne. And the driver here is to be part of a really powerful team, and we are in a pipeline, so to speak, which from understanding the disease over the structural biology, biophysics approach, what we do to the development of potential drug targets, which is a very nice and a strong motivation to work hard towards helping patients.
Absolutely. I wonder what challenges you faced while conducting your research and how you overcame them.
I mean, the challenges in my field is, there's a huge frustration tolerance required for students and for my experienced postdocs and research associates. And I'm very thankful that they never quit and they never gave up. We were the first ones ever characterizing netrin at this level. There were lots of experimental challenges. We had to develop, to a certain degree, new techniques to make this happen. The other challenge is I spend a fair amount of time to get research support in the house so that we can finance this research, which is very expensive. We travel to synchrotrons all over the world. We go to other experimental places. But the challenge here was more this, to intellectually to understand the system, because this for a molecule like netrin, or in general, these kind of extracellular ligands, hasn't been shown yet.
Absolutely. What collaborations do you look forward to in the future of cancer research?
I mean, one thing is this is such a fundamental disease or fundamental problem to tackle that, to develop a philosophy or a strategy to cure cancer can never be done by a single person, by a single lab. This is stuff which has to be going in an integrated approach. You need interdisciplinary contacts and, in many cases, international collaborations. So the future in my field certainly will be, hey, we have to find partners who can do things which we can't, We have to find partners who can understand what we do and we understand them. And this will be the biggest challenges, you know, to work hand in hand in this kind of high collaborative efforts. And there, I think in Canada, there is a steep learning curve, which has to be taken.
That's certainly very interesting to know. You've also talked about how amazing it is to work with younger students. I wonder, what advice would you have for young individuals who are interested in pursuing research in cancer treatment?
I mean, yeah, it's a bit this. My advice would be, hey, you know, it has to come from within. Either you burn for it, and you wanna achieve it. You know, this is nothing I, as a professor, can teach, or I can culture. I can make it stronger. But the key, the fire has to be from within. My advice, you know, I got my first 10-year position, or when I was 42. I worked in industry. I worked in, obviously, I'm a German. Then I worked in Switzerland. And, you know, this is a long path. I did postdocs. I worked for industry. Sometimes people these days, you know, they want to have more a permanent position and an 8 to 3 job, which is fair enough, and we need these guys. But this is, of course, nothing a researcher. You know, researchers, we are driven by generating know-how, by generating knowledge and disseminate it. So my advice is, it's a perfect timing for young people coming out of the pandemic situation. I think also in Canada, there is a new way of opening, especially for young women, which is, in my eyes, very, very important. And I'm pretty sure the future, at least in the field, what I'm pursuing, structural biology, biophysics, cancer-related research, is really bright. So it's a perfect timing to come to the labs to do research and to pursue your vision.
Well, I'm sure you've inspired so many, and this conversation was very inspiring to me, and I'm sure everyone who watches it. Thank you so much for your time today.
Okay, thank you.
I really look forward to your work in the future.
Okay, thank you. Have a nice day.